Bang, bang. Ace here with another audio podcast. I believe this is episode number 3. And we're going to be talking about wandering in the spiritual wilderness today. If you are new here for the first time, I want to extend to you a welcome and thank you for being here. You're not here by chance. I go over some very, very unique information, all topics dealing with spirituality. And it's not a chance that you are here. Either your energy locked in with mine or mine locked in with yours. But again, I want to welcome you. And if you are a returning listener, a returning Forever Phoenix villager, want to welcome you as well. I want to take some time and shout out a number of individuals that communicated with me regarding the last podcast and just gave me some positive feedback. I appreciate all of you. And the engagement means a lot to me, and I'm going to tell you why. I take a lot of time and put everything that I have into creating these podcasts and sending them out to the world, sending them out to humanity. And the feedback is just welcome, because if you're going to take the energy and the time to be here and listen with me, absolutely, I want to hear everything that you have to say about what you're hearing. We may not always agree, and that's okay, but I'm a big boy. I can handle it. So, whether you deem it good, bad, or indifferent, never hesitate if you want to communicate and send me a message and give me some feedback on any of the shows and episodes that you take the time and listen to here. I was in the car not too long ago, and I always have these conversations with myself. I don't know if you're like that. And the question came up, well, Ace, who is your targeted audience? And of course, I answered myself and I said, I don't have a targeted audience. I feel I can talk to anyone between the age of 4 and 400 and everything in between. I just feel that I can relate. I've had a lot of different experiences in my life, a lot of ups and downs, being at the bottom and just picking myself up from there and just getting to where I am now. So I've got a lot of experiences, and I'm pretty well versed on a lot of different topics. So I feel I can relate to anyone, but my target audience is humanity. And the content that I'm going to be talking about here, it's going to be very, very broad. You can tune in and listen to an episode of this show, and you're just going to be floored by some of the topics that we're going to cover, because they're not going to be in a certain category. They're going to be all over the place. In fact, I'll tell you, I'm working on doing some research on 3 different shows that I'm putting together, but one is dealing with Noah's Ark, and the connection between Noah's Ark and the Anunnaki. And so here is something out of the Bible. Religion gets to meet extraterrestrial. So get ready for that episode. But there are going to be a number of rabbit holes that I jump down into and explore and talk with you about, to see if there's any connections. I really believe that everything that's going on this year is connected to some things that have taken place in the past, and it's also going to put us in place to understand the future that we are moving into. So get ready, because I got some heat. I got some heat for you guys coming in the future episodes. Today, we're going to just jump right into it. We're going to talk a little bit about the year 2020, because this is a year that is really about full disclosure. We're exposing a whole lot. I don't think there's a day that we don't wake up and we find yet another story about something being exposed. It's also the year of realizations. And for you and me, it's the year where a lot of us are finding our inner truths, and we're starting to walk in them, and we're starting to be that truth. And what I find interesting is that we were on lockdown for a number of months, and now we have people that are coming out of quarantine and entering back in society. And maybe you're one of those individuals that worked throughout the entire quarantine time. But what I'm finding is that people are feeling that they're not the same. They don't feel the same. They don't feel the same today than they did in February. And they're starting to question a lot of things that are going on with their lives. And maybe you've been feeling this way, but didn't want to say anything about it because you didn't know if other people were feeling this way. Well, they are. People are starting to question things that are going on with themselves. People are questioning the relationships that they're involved in. And I just don't mean relationships as far as husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking about, relationships they have with maybe other family members, people that they deal with. People are starting to question, is this a healthy relationship that I need to be involved in? Or maybe I should be speaking more with this individual because they more line up with my frequency and my vibration. So people are questioning relationships. People are questioning their employment. They don't feel the same about their employment today than they did in January. And that could be because their purpose is now lining up with their truth, and now they're being aware of it. And so people are feeling awkward about that. So there are a number of people that feel disconnected, they feel lost, and they're having trouble operating with everything that's going on. So if you're feeling like this, I want to welcome you to the spiritual wilderness. And the spiritual wilderness is a place that feels like you're in a void. You almost feel empty. You can't really fully connect or latch onto anything that gives you a feeling that you're back on track with life. And so there may be this overwhelming feeling that you're just being suspended. Like, okay, I'm just existing and I don't feel connected to anything. So if you've been feeling like this, I want to take just a little time here and give you some things to consider, give you some things to question to maybe help you navigate or get a better understanding as to what you may be going through. So the first thing I would ask you to consider is this. Would you agree that the planet right now is going through an evolution process? I firmly believe that Mother Earth is totally different today than she was in January. I mean, there are all kind of reports that are out that are saying that the environment is cleaner, the air is cleaner, the water is cleaner. There's so many things taking place with Mother Earth because of what we just went through. And I just think that Mother Earth, which I happen to believe is a true living entity, is going through an evolution process. And we're all feeling it. Okay. The energy is different. So if that's something that you can really feel and it resonates with you, well, then let's go on to the next thing for you to consider. Have you noticed the people around you that you know, have they been acting differently? Are they changed in their mannerisms from back in February? Because I see it in a number of people I know, they're just different. And different does not have to be put in it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be bad. They're just different. They're operating different. Their mannerism is different. There are a number of people that are awakening to their truth. So can you consider that this is taking place with the people that you know? Because if you can really get into what's going on with Mother Earth and then the people around you, well, then number three is this. Is it possible that you yourself and me as well, that we're going through some changes within our own lives as well? Remember, if you've been questioning things, that's a good indication. Another indicator is recognizing your feelings. Have you been noticing that you are way more emotional now than you were in the past? I have cried more this year than probably the last 5 years put together. I've had a lot of emotional um, feelings come up within me, and yeah, crying like for no reason. And I don't have a problem sharing this with you. I wouldn't have shared this with you a year ago. I promise you that. But I understand it's part of the evolution process, and it's part of this transition that yours truly is going through. And have you been noticing more self-awareness with you going on with you? Have you noticed that you're more present? Maybe more deja vu is taking place right now in your life than before. You see, I believe that we're moving from an age of believing into an age of knowing, and knowing our individual truths, which will alter things. Because, see, when you know your individual truth, it's going to affect how you feel and how you relate to the many aspects of who you are. It's almost as if you and I are waking up from having amnesia, and we're awakening to who we truly are. It's almost as if we've been sleepwalking and now we're starting to wake up. So remember, I opened up talking about the year 2020 being a year of full disclosure. Well, let's talk a little bit about how disclosure really, really takes place, because the first step in full disclosure is it has to reveal itself. Revelations have to start to take place in your life that you recognize. And this may be happening with you. Okay. And after the revelation of things, step two is the integration. See, all the aspects of everything that's going on with you has to be integrated into what I call the oneness of being. Every aspect of you coming together and you operate in this oneness. All right. So step two is the integration. And step three is, once the integration takes place, then it's the acceptance. We have to accept that, you know what, this is who I am. This is who we are. And after step three, after the acceptance, comes number four. Now we run the program and start to experience the beingness of our new reality. Isn't that cool? But see, none of this could happen if we didn't start to wake up to some of the truths about who we are individually and who we are collectively. So consider that what I'm talking about here is the process of being spiritually upgraded. Or you may want to use, you're having a program, a spiritual program installed in you, or something being loaded or something being downloaded within you. And this is the other key part to this, that as you're going through this upgrade, as you're going through this download, as you're going through this massive installation that's taken place with you, you're also deleting. Because when we upgrade a program in any of our devices, we delete the old one. So it's very possible that you are going through this upgrade while letting go of aspects of who you were, who you believed you were to be, and who you acted like. One of the things that you and I both know is that when we download or upgrade or update any of our devices, what's really taking place? Well, we have these upgrades take place because they're designed to make our devices run and operate more efficiently. But this is the kicker to it. Okay. Sometimes these upgrades take time. Okay. And during any upgrade, any download, any installation period, there's a strong possibility you can't use your device. I know when I upgrade my iPhone, it'll say, hey, you can't do anything for 47 minutes. And that's why a lot of times, we do it at night or the first thing in the morning so that we can allow this installation period take place and not really miss anything. But there's a period of time when we're upgrading our devices that we can't use it. And see, the same exact thing is taking place with us as well. Because during this time, we find ourselves in this thing called a spiritual wilderness because we're not able to operate. It's not business as usual while this process is running, while this program is being updated. And so we feel disconnected. We feel out of place. We feel out of touch. And we have to look at that for what it is. I was watching The Matrix not too long ago, and I'm watching Neo go through this same process before he masters himself, because he started as the nerd, he started as the punk, and he got his ass beat, went through this, that, and the other, and then when he was fully integrated, what happened? He was the one starting to kick ass. When he was fully integrated, he was the one that was just in such a knowing within himself, everything became natural. And we are going through very possibly the same type of integration. So we have to get good at understanding the process and being good with it as we're going through the process, to not interfere with the process. Because most of the time, we get what? We get anxious, we get frustrated, we get upset, we judge ourselves, which is just another form of punishment. Because I've done this to myself so many times. It's a program. It's something that we've been taught. We've been taught that, no, you have to be connected to something. You have to do something. You have to be in motion. You have to be on top of your game. That's how we were taught. That's how we were brought up. And all it is a program. So we have to allow the process to run, because along the way, there may be things called bugs that affect the installation, affect the upgrade. And guess what the bug is? Surprise, the bug is you and me doing the exact things I just talked about: being anxious, being frustrated, being judgmental. I can tell you that based on my experience coming out of this lockdown, there were a number of days I felt disconnected. I was fully aware, but I didn't feel or experience the link that I was used to between me and Source, me and God, me and the universe. There were a number of times I was literally in my feelings. And so I can remember when this was happening, I started to overthink things. I started to worry more. The trust signal that I've always had, I started to ignore, started to vacillate, started to pay more attention to the noise that was going on in society. And that noise is nothing but a distraction that takes us further away from allowing us to be who we truly are. And there were a number of times, and I can fully admit this to you, that I jumped into the game of the flesh, into the game of the ego, had to pound my chest and let people know they were wrong and I was right, and play all these games of polarity. And all I was really doing is trying to fill this void while this transition was going on within me, with my upgrading, the integrating, the downloading. That's all I was trying to do. And a lot of times we get in the way and we sabotage our own installation, our own upgrade. So one day, fully aware, knowing what was going on and what I was doing, I just sat down. I just sat in silence. And after a while, I started to see the internal program of survival that I was running. I could see it clear as day. I could see the matrix of what was going on within me. You see, every day, you and I have to intentionally decide, are we going to take the red pill today or the blue pill? Because if the installation is not installed properly, the blue pill operating system will override for self-protection. That is always the default. The default is always going back to that third dimensional, always going back to the ego ran program. And it's not a good or bad or right or wrong. It just is what it is. So what we have to do is we have to be more present. That's the most powerful thing that we can do for ourselves, is just be more present. And being present doesn't cost us anything but being aware. Awareness means being present, being present in the moment. Because if we could be present in the moment, each and every moment, then you get to make a choice. Who will you choose to be today? And if you're presently making that choice in the moment, what fires off is the intention. The intention fires off in the direction that you want it to go in. The intention is fired off, and it finds itself floating on a certain frequency within a certain vibration. And if the intention is set off effectively, then it leads to our experience. It leads to our experience of it. And that experience being felt over and over again leads to the desired reality. And that's the keys, guys. That's it. We got to be present. Okay. Make the choice. Choice turns into the intention. Intention turns into the experience. And the experience is the reality that we want to have in our lives. Okay. So I hope that helps. I'm going to be signing off here. I will be back with episode 4. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Love and respect. And I'll talk to you really soon.